We, husband 32 male and me 26 female, have been told by his brother, 37 male, and still 30s, that we should supply all Xmas gifts for the kids due to our lack of kids. Plus updates. My hubby comes from a huge family. I believe his father had 8 brothers/sisters. They all married and had between 2 and 6 children. All of their children have grown up and are establishing families of their own. As of right moment, we are looking at a family of easily 15 children. Every year, we all gather at his grandparents' home for Christmas. Sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Right. We usually choose names for the children's gift exchange after Thanksgiving or on Thanksgiving, when they all gather together for. There's also a men's and women's gift exchange, which my husband and I, who don't have children, participate in. Now, to give you a sense of how giving has changed over the past 10 years. My husband and I would purchase presents for his parents, his brother and wife, and their 4 children. Excellent. Fantastic. It works perfectly. They indicated they prefer we simply buy presents for the kids last year, so we did. We'd always purchase them books at their reading level PJs and some kind of puzzle. They were furious, but we couldn't figure out why. We also didn't get any presents, which we didn't mention, but my husband said he was disappointed since his brother and sister-in-law received gifts. Because I am not a very gregarious person, I spent the most of Thanksgiving reading a book and watching one of the younger cousins sleep. We eventually assembled so the kids could draw names of their cousins for the present exchange. They accomplished that, and then husband's brother, whose we'll name Timmy, adds, and uncle husband will give all the kids a present as well. So my husband and I gave him a new look. Oh no lol, we'll simply bring the chocolates again this year, we joked. His brother then suggested that we purchase presents for all of the children since we didn't have any, and that it wasn't very Christian of us not to share our good fortune with the youngsters. At this point, my husband drew him away into the kitchen and told him he didn't have to buy all of the cousins' presents, but he could if he wanted to. They began to dispute, and Timmy screamed that we should never longer come to Christmas. I gave back the infant, and we left, saying we'd contact them later when they'd cooled down enough to chat like adults. I'd simply want to hear someone else's point of view. My husband is quite unhappy, and his parents agree with Timmy that we should be giving more things since we have no one to purchase them for except children now. He threw the fact that we got no gifts from anybody at them, and they stated we were adults now and Christmas is for kids. He said that they still gave Timmy and his wife gifts, but they remarked that we'd already purchased it, may as well. But I've gone shopping with his mother, and she's already purchased things for Timmy's wife Candy this year. I'm irritated and feel that no one is managing any of this properly, and I want to jump in and assist my husband, but I want someone else to look at this mess before I do anything other than listen and make ideas to his parents about saying I feel when you update. It was great to hear from other individuals without having to worry about them repeating my conversation to the other person involved. So, I'm not sure where to begin. I'm about 3 in simply to calm myself. For one thing, after we chatted, I showed my husband the post. I brought up T-Day 2015 and asked him if he wanted more insight on his family problems than I usually offer. When he responded yes, I pointed out his brother's preference for him in practically everything. To establish my case, I compiled a list of incidents in which they and he were completely at fault. We looked through his brother's, Sill's, mother's, father's, aunts, and cousins' messages. Just a quick refresher of names. Timmy is Timmy's brother. Candy is my sister-in-law. Rhonda is Rhonda's mother. Keith is Keith's father. Kira is Kira's aunt. Ben is a cousin. Todd, this is shorter than hubby since I'm lazy. So the day I posted after we went over the texts, which began after we missed their call and continued until we sent the email. It was all just spiteful about how we waste our money, time, and life volunteering and don't spend enough time with their children/cousins/cousins' children/family anymore. It began by accusing Todd of being a sugar who gets beaten by his cold harpy child Hatton wife. And it just got worse from there. Todd merely responded with a few words stating he'd write him about it and asked him not to speak about me. So essentially, this is what we sent in the email. I just did a rough edit. Todd sent it as though it were solely from him. We nearly included his parents but decided to merely forward it to them if things went out of hand. NP Timmy did it for him. Tim, I've sent you an email so we may discuss what occurred on Thanksgiving. This, I believe, would be healthier for us both since when we are angry, we say things rashly. You didn't give me much time to consider it, but here it is. I'm not sure why you offered to purchase presents for us. We are delighted to purchase presents for your children, as we do every year. Is there anything wrong? Is someone suffering financial difficulties? While we would happily assist anybody who requested, as we have in the past, you may remember Kathy, and 2 years ago, you also contributed. It was impolite to set up in front of little children. Not to mention you informing us we are no longer permitted to celebrate Christmas. The messages and nasty voicemails were also inappropriate. Please take some time to respond to me. I'm hoping we can work things out since our family is so important to us. Todd, yes, it was about as well received as water on a grease fire. Timmy sent the email to Rhonda, Keith, Kira, and Ben for 1. That was impolite, but we were going to do the same thing anyhow. Ben wrote us an email informing us of Timmy's actions and apologizing for not being there to intervene but promising to contact Timmy. Timmy and Ben are really pretty close, so it was wonderful to see that he felt Timmy was being unfair as well, especially because they are usually extremely close/like-minded. I'm not going to include his email. Instead, I'll emphasize what he stated and then tell you what Keith and Rhonda mentioned in their email/visit. I'm a frigid, child-hating harpy who likes to sleep. He never really decided if I was an atheist, a Muslim, or anything else. I'm taking Todd away from church and his family. We no longer spend any time with our families. We never give our nibblings any attention. We are squandering our lives, time, and money by helping with animals. Helping wanting to aid refugees was un-American, and this is my fault since I am a first-generation American who does not comprehend what it takes to be one or to deserve to be here. I'm impolite and never speak to them unless it's about animal rescue/rights. Okay, so, we're sort of laughing, somewhat sobbing, and kinda surprised at this point. We spent the rest of the day tidying up our home and discussing what we wanted to do/say in response. We hadn't checked our emails, had put our phones on vibrate, and were just trying to enjoy our rare day off together. What a surprise! His folks traveled all the way out here to speak with us. I say chat, but it seemed more like I was being spoken to. They asked me to leave so that they could speak with Todd about his actions. Rude email. Todd answered no, that I was his family and his wife, and that we were dealing with this together. They then attempted to persuade us that we had yelled in front of the family. We didn't do it. That we had previously suggested purchasing presents for everyone. That we no longer loved Jesus since we hadn't come to church, and part of what Timmy sent in the email as well. Todd was done when his father began to insult me, and then my father. Thank you for coming to see us at our house for the first time, but we have errands to go, and you must leave now, he remarked as he rose up. When they refused, he told them they had to go right now or he'd have to contact the cops. They walked away. He sobbed, I cried, and our cats knocked their drinks over. We eventually called my father and told him everything, as well as showed him both emails. He informed us that they had previously told him trash about me/us. You should be able to repair your kid still, we're still working on ours, he remarked. We've chosen not to attend their Christmas celebrations in any case. I told Todd I couldn't go back there, and I couldn't look at any of them the same way again. I knew they didn't like me as much as some of the other daughters-in-laws, but I didn't realize how much they disliked me. To my face, they have always been courteous and respectful. I was invited to and included in all occasions. Nobody had ever said anything to Todd. I'm now waiting for my father and brother to get in town, after which we'll sit down and determine what we want to do. Todd said that he only wants it to be small and that he doesn't mind where Christmas takes place since it brings him closer to my father and brother. We informed Ben of what had occurred and sent his present to him. I haven't decided what I'll do with the nibblings presents yet, but I've already given away all of the adult items. Update 2. We held a little Christmas party with several friends yesterday since we are going on the 24th for a vacation. Myself, Todd, Dad, and a brother I'll call Theo. Sandy, a friend who grew up near me, and I had known her for years, became friends with Timmy and his wife as well. They have mutual Facebook pals. We informed her there was a squabble but didn't go into detail so as not to jeopardize their connection. Because she tagged us in her "Woo look at ma Git/QQ my buddy is leaving me for Christmas" post. The picture is of the two of us drinking and dancing around her new Roomba. I should point out that this isn't just for Christmas. It's also for her birthday, wedding, and housewarming. She and her soon-to-be husband Bill just purchased a new townhouse near us. I wouldn't ordinarily spend so much money on anything simply for Christmas. Timmy, on the other hand, noticed the post. Not only did he take offense to us drinking, none of them drink/are against drinking, but he also took exception to her acquiring a Roomba. He made a fool of himself in the comments and then showed up at our flat. When Timmy arrived, I was in the shower, and I heard someone hammering on the door, which had to be very loud to be heard all the way in the MB shower. I completed the shower about the middle of Todd and Tim's quarrel. Todd said he was pounding on the door, so he opened it and refused to allow Tim in any farther than the hallway. Tim was ranting at him about the present, his lack of church attendance, our trip out of town, demanding gifts for his kids, which I gave, and asking where we got off purchasing such a pricey gift for someone who isn't related and being selfish about giving the other children. So about this time, I get out of the shower after putting on my PJ, and it's almost 1 a.m. I walked out to see Timmy and I was surprised. Todd says it's late, and we can speak about it when we return from our vacation with the pastor. He pushes Todd, and Todd falls back against the wall, causing a dent. This jolted my dad and Theo awake. I went in front of Todd because Tim was about to punch him, and he struck me, knocking me down on top of Todd. Dad and Theo detained him, and our next-door neighbor was awakened and phoned 911. Cops arrived, separated us all. We told them what had occurred, didn't tell them about the other issues, and reduced it to there had been a Christmas quarrel. They also phoned an ambulance because Todd had wounded his arm on a broken plate, and my face was soon going purple. The EMS personnel who arrived knew Todd and were highly concerned about his and my injuries. When the officers asked whether we wanted to file charges, I began to answer no. Todd agreed. So Tim got jailed, and we went to the ER because Todd needed sutures. Since then, our phones have been blazing up, and I've shut mine off after telling Sandy that she shouldn't let Tim and Candy see any postings about us since they're mad at us. Okay, she said. I went through and unfriended/grouped everybody who was also friends with any in-law relatives into a limited group so they can't see what we're up to anymore. I hope so. Rhonda and Keith have been blowing up Todd's phone, and he has only responded in text with what occurred, that we would not drop charges or pay his bail, and that he should stop contacting us at all. We had spoken to some of the other family members between the prior update and this one, and they all stated they disagreed with Timmy. His grandparents said they did too, but they couldn't host the Christmas and couldn't stop him from uninviting us. They said they'd speak to him, and we were like, well, good, maybe we'll be buddies again next year. That is no longer the case. There is no turning back now. We'll file a restraining order when we come home, and Todd is considering transferring us out of state. This is something that both Dad and Theo agree is a wonderful idea. Dad is irritated that I wouldn't let him punch Tim, so he's pouting a little. But I believe he's more sad that we've lost another family. So yes, I get to enjoy my vacation with a black eye/cheek. Todd has a 4-inch cut on his arm, Dad is grumpy, and Theo is pleased since he's using marijuana, so Merry Christmas.